What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B, and you're watching another episode of the Esoteric Hustler Academy. You know what I'm saying? Where we break down all the spiritual concepts, tap into some astrology and some other things, just so we can apply these tools to help us with creating a business for ourselves that also resonates with our spiritual path, and then also incorporates our natural energy, so that we don't have to necessarily be something we're not, just for the sake of trying to earn a dollar, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, stack money, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? We all got, you know what I'm saying, we all here, and we all have to find some way to sustain our lifestyle and shit like that. So, you know, due to the current system in play, you know what I'm saying, we have to find a way that we can use our natural talents to earn money, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I break it down, like I said, I break it down just so that we can get a full spectrum, so we can apply spiritual concepts to it, so that we don't, like I said before, we don't have to do things that are unnatural to us, or we can create a way for ourselves that feels the most natural, so that we don't have to suffer in order to just live, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but anyway, without further ado, we're gonna jump right in. And so today's video is about how to stay consistent with content, you know what I'm saying? So off the bat, you know, and this is going to be a part of a series that I'm just gonna call Saturnian lessons, you know what I'm saying, lessons from Saturn and shit like that. Because, you know, Saturn, when we talk about business structure, anything involving reality and trying to organize our lifestyle, is going to come from the planet Saturn, you know what I'm saying? So we need to know and understand some of the lessons that come with just understanding Saturn, and know where know how Saturn moves, so that we can implement that energy properly within our lives, you know what I'm saying? So staying consistent with content. So, you know, this is one of the main things we all got to do with anything that we do. If you are making content, if you are, you know, or you trying to start a business, you have to create some, it's like, even if what you do is like a service, for instance, right? You have to find something that you can post, or basically create and showcase consistently, in order for people to catch interest, for you to build interest, and interest leads to influence and stuff like that. You know, interest is like the fire, influence is when you actually you got people's attention, but now they want to actually invest into you, they want to buy into you, they want to pay attention, and they want to feel and connect with your energy. So that becomes influence. You become an influencer, and, you know, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And like, I like to stay away from, because even if you are a content creator or whatnot, I like to stay away from calling yourself an influencer. I don't know, something about that word, it's like, it's weird, it's awkward, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's become one of those buzzwords where, you know, every now and then the media, or not necessarily the media, but mainstream concepts and labels of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like calling somebody a celebrity. That, like, influencer became the new name for a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? And whenever we're dealing with names and titles, I stay clear from all titles, because you got to understand, you got to get this, your spirit is no thing. And the second you start to assign assign labels and names and titles to your spirit, that's the minute, the instant you start to you diminish your own power, you know what I'm saying? You give your power away, because now you put yourself in a box, you know what I'm saying? And these boxes are devices. These boxes are used, see, the thing about the boxes, right? So like I was saying earlier, we live in a world that has a system going already, right? Now, the system and how it works on higher levels, right? They create boxes for you to put yourself in. And once they can put you in a box, basically, it's almost like you, the boxes that they put you in, it's almost like being, because see, it's like when you put yourself in a box, like I said, it's giving your power away. So by putting yourself in a box, or allowing somebody to label you, you now shrink your spirit. Your spirit is no thing. Your spirit has the possibility to do godly work. And what I mean by godly work is reach the space of all possibilities, to expand beyond what anybody can perceive, because we all have a unique gift and power that we come here with. But the second we allow things outside of us to label us, and we conform to these different labels and titles, the potential of your spirit diminishes. You know what I'm saying? And like, this is a game we constantly play, because we live in a world where they, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to talk like this, but like, you know, it's like motherfuckers don't like, and this is like, when we talk about governmental systems and shit like that, I know this is a business video, but like, this type of shit is important just so you get a full spectrum of kind of how to look at the world. Because it's like, a lot of times it's like these governmental systems and things of that nature, but even people do this on a personal level, where, you know, you might have a friend who wants to see you succeed and stuff like that, but the second, it's like, it's almost like people will come around with a certain label to call you when they don't understand what you do, and they just call it whatever label they call it in order to give you a frame that they thought of. But if you conform to this, so if you conform to this frame, it's like, it's almost like you put yourself in a position where what you could have been so much more than what they categorize you as. But by you going along with that, it's almost like it's almost like you mess your own mind up by that. You create your own mental illness by allowing that to go. And mental illness by, in the sense of being like, now you think in the frame of whatever somebody else put upon you. So it's like you did in a lot of ways, and shout out to Dolo, you know what I'm saying? In a lot of ways, you that's how you do witchcraft on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you do witchcraft on yourself, it's when you allow different things to put you in a certain space that you didn't necessarily agree with. That wasn't the space that you had planned. Like we all, like I said, we all have a unique power and perspective that we came here with. So when you allow other things to label what you are, you ain't none of that shit. You are something unique that somebody else probably hasn't even seen or been able to conceive before you came around. You know what I'm saying? If you really being on your shit, and being on your shit, I mean being a true individual, truly doing things to the beat of your own drum, truly being an innovator in whatever it is that you do. And when it comes to this business shit, this is important, because at the end of the day, that's what's actually going to push your business. When you find something to do that no one else could do like you, and anybody who chooses to do it after you, they got to look at you as the author of whatever it is that you push. So it's not an ego trip thing where now, oh, y'all all got to go through me in order to do what y'all do if y'all doing the same thing as me. But it's more like when people do things and get a necessary feeling to pay homage, and they be like, oh, nah, but shout out to that person. It's like they can't help but shout you out. They can't help but uphold what you started. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the you are the owner of that intellectual property. So at that point, you become, that's how you gain influence. That's how you gain, you know what I'm saying, gain power in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And we know, like, when it comes to power and shit like that, a lot of people are power hungry, but we gotta, it's like there's a demonic way to look at power, and then there's the spiritual way to look at power, where, you know, you using your power for you know what I'm saying, and you're not using it to dominate over anybody, or you know take away from what other people got. You know what I'm saying? Even though you can't really take away, but it's like you're not using it to, like I said, you're not using it to dominate over people, or manipulate people and things of that nature, or, you know what I'm saying, doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? You know, on the demonic end of that, where now you taking your power or your influence and you doing negative things with it. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, you know, it's less about, you know, but anyway, I'm that's way on a tangent, and way on a tangent. I'm gonna get back to the point, the point of this video and shit like that. But you know, all that shit is important, and I'm gonna come back to that. You know, I'm not gonna leave that hanging. I'm gonna come back to that probably in a different video. But you know, this is about how to stay consistent. So like I said, you know, gaining influence and things of that nature, you can become someone who with influence. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, you know what I'm saying, what it is like, hold on. Yeah. So at this point, what happens is, you know, yeah, so that's basically how you got to do it. But that all comes from consistency. That all comes from building. That all comes from doing something and keeping at it. You know what I'm saying? And these are the lessons of Saturn, but also, you know, we're going to talk about how to actually do this. So first thing that you might want to do is, or one of the first things, because I got a list about 5 things, and then I got bigger concepts outside of that. But you know, first of all, you want to pay attention to your 6th and 10th house. So if you're into astrology, right, look at your 6th and 10th house. Your 6th house is like how you work, organize, your day-to-day process, routine, pattern, things you keep on the schedule. That's all the 6th house. The 10th house is your status and what you become known for. Now, also like what you broadcast, what you're here to broadcast, and what how you broadcast, how you go about showing yourself or showing what you've worked on. You know what I'm saying? 10th house being the Capricorn house, 6th house being the Virgo house. So what does this mean? So basically what you got to understand, right? Between the 6th and the 10th house, it's a triangle. A triangle is a gift. So triangles, you know what I'm saying, like a trine, that's like a positive attribute. But now it's not always positive, but you know, like when we talk about astrology and aspects, see, depending on what is trining what, you know, depending on what two planets are angling and things of that nature, that'll determine what's actually a positive aspect versus a negative aspect. But for the sake of this, since we're talking about houses, naturally the 6th house and the 10th house, right? We're not talking about planets. We're just talking about the 6th house and the 10th house themselves. These are always going to be in a harmonious energy with each other. Harmonious being two things that can come together and it doesn't cause friction. Two things that are on an even flow, that flow the same, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe in different aspects, but they still flow in they deal with the same element, you know what I'm saying? So getting back to the 6th and the 10th house, whatever's going on in the 6th house, right? The process going on in the 6th house is the work that's being put in. Now, the 2nd house is also important too. The 2nd house is more so what you value though, and or in the business sense, what you're putting, what value you're putting into whatever it is that you're creating as far as content. So you got to keep that in mind as well. So pay attention to the 2nd, 6th, and 10th house, and these are all trine. These are your earth houses. So whatever it is that you're creating as a business, you need to know what value it is specifically. If there's anything to get very specific on, it's what value you are putting into your product. That is like number one. And product, whatever it is that you're showcasing. So content as well. If you create content on YouTube and shit like that, you need to figure out, if you don't know what what value you're providing, it's not gonna give you a direct enough vision for you to know what kind of content should come next or what kind of content to produce. So the 2nd house has to be solidified by you. You know what I'm saying? You have to know, okay, I'm putting this kind of value into play. So once you figure out, okay, this is the value I want to provide, right? Now it's time for the 6th house. Now the 6th house, this is where you kind of figure the details out of what it is that you're going to construct. And what you want to do is you want to create a system, right? First of all, you want to create, it's like with the 6th house, it's what you work on constantly, right? It's what you want to put into work. So when you think about, like, it's almost like, let me think of a good way to present this. I guess it's really like this, right? It's in the sense of being like, since you know what value you want to provide, the 6th house is really figuring out what kind of content can you produce daily. What kind of content, like if you had to produce something every day, what's something that you can do within your reach, within your grasp, something feasible, something that's simple enough for you to get and make? What could you do every day if you needed to do? And like, you're gonna get two different kinds of answers, because depending on what it is that you do, right? Of course, realistically, you might not be able to do it every day, or if you do participate in it every day, you won't be able to present it that same day. It's like almost like sometimes, like for instance, if you're a musician, it's like, yeah, okay, I want to make music. That's what I want to do. That's the value. I want to put whatever value it is in the content form of music. But if you make a song, you know, all my songwriters know, like not all of us can make a song in one day. Sometimes songs take a long time. So in that sense, it's like using that 6th house space is like working on that music every day, participating in working on a song every day. You're putting something together that can leads you to having a collection of songs over an amount of time. And then from that time, that's where you take things into the 10th house, right? But some of us will be able to, like, for instance, if you're on YouTube and say you do tarot readings and shit like that, I can do a 5-minute card pull every day. That's content that you could probably figure out how to do every day, you know what I'm saying, and present it as content. And like, the reason I'm saying it like this is because it's kind of like, in today's age, that's the name of the game, is content, but finding how you can be consistent and have a lot of content, but at the same time keep a certain level of quality, you know what I'm saying, and balancing quality and quantity at the same time, you know what I'm saying, balancing these two and working these two as a system. But at the same time, because, like, you know what I'm saying, and on this channel, we don't half-ass shit. That's not what the name of the game is, you know, just because in today's, like, we don't really care what today's age is calling for at the same time. But it is important for you to understand the idea that, no, you need to be producing some kind of content. If it's something that you say you want to sell, something that you say you do, you should be forming or putting out some form of content consistently in order to get that thing going, to be seen and presented, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, going back in what I was saying, so for that 6th house space, it's like a 2-part thing. So 6th house space is just finding something that you can work on every day, right? Or finding some form of content that you can produce every day, you know what I'm saying? Or if you can't produce it daily, finding a way to build on it over time, right? Because the 6th house ain't really about trying to drop something every day. It's really working on whatever it is that you decided on as far as the content that you want to produce. The 10th house is now when we talk about presentation. Now, the whole relation between the 2nd, 6th, and the 10th is very important, because what you work on in the 6th house will have the opportunity or has the gift to be ready to present in the 10th house. Now, the 10th house, like I said, is about broadcasting. It's about what you put out in the forefront. It's about what people start to know you for, what you can utilize as your status to stand on. Saturn energy. And so with Saturn, we all know Saturn is like, Saturn presents itself as a restriction or a blockage, right? But once you figure out how to hurdle that blockage, it then becomes a stepping stone, and then you are now on to the next level, where there'll be another blockage. But at the same time, it's like, these are the lessons of Saturn. Saturn is like steps, you know what I'm saying? You move up steps type shit with Saturn, you know, Saturn being exalted in the 7th house and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and Saturn, you know what I'm saying, 7 is kind of like, it looks like a step, but I'm on some other shit, you know, anyway, you know what I'm saying? But that's the name of the game. So that's how it goes, you know what I'm saying? So whatever you're working on in the 6th house will actually be ready to be presented in the 10th house. And that's one of the keys to know, because see, what happens is, right, basically, and I'm looking at notes right now, basically there is no perfect time to do something. And this is something I wrote. It's like, ready is the key word here, because it's like, one concept you got to get over is knowing that there's no perfect time. It's just, it's like, there's no perfect time to do something. Opportunity is constantly presented. Like, every day, every minute, every moment is an opportunity. When you really start to tap into your spirituality, you sit back and realize, like, when it comes to things such as your state of being, how you feel at the current moment, thoughts and feelings that you're producing on an instant, right? Every moment counts. The more time you can put into things that you want to see, to energies you want to be in, to feelings and thoughts that you agree with, that you truly resonate with, the better you get to, the more you get to see these things manifest in your life as reality. This is how we create with the universe, co-create. This is how we manifest, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Now, when it comes to business, it's no different. The more time and effort you put into working on whatever it is that you putting value into, and working on the form of content. So it's like, if you take, let's say your value was like, let's talk about like it's like I want to say a piece of chocolate, right? Chocolate. You work in a candy store and shit like that, right? This is an analogy. We're gonna rock with this, right? Say you at a candy store. It's like the the caramel inside, right? That's like the value. Like, oh nah, like I love caramel, so I want to provide, like, that's what my candy is gonna be different about. I'm gonna have hella caramel in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be mad sweet in the middle. It's gonna be so good, right? But I also want the chocolate on the top. Like, it's like, okay, so before we get to the chocolate, right? It's like, man, I got this caramel center. Like, I love candy with a caramel center, so I want to make my own, right? That's the value. And then so you take it into the 6th house and you sit back and you create the schematics and you be like, or you figure the detail, you figure the details of it, right? And the details be like, all right, well, I can't just have caramel. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to actually put some, let's say I got a chocolate shell and let's put a wafer in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? A wafer on the top. And then I'm going to surround it all. And you know what I'm saying? I'll put the caramel on the wafer and then I'll surround the whole thing in chocolate. And the chocolate will be like the outer shell. So you got the details about how you want to do it. And so you put in work of creating that shit, right? So you create that shit. And then finally, you can present it. You can slap a wrapper on it and you can design it how you want and you can sell it. Now it's something that you can, you know what I'm saying? Now it's a business and shit like that, right? But let's say you had this idea, but you ain't never take the time to figure out the details of how you wanted to surround that caramel and chocolate. Like, you didn't even come up with the outer shell. You was just like, man, I really, really want to one day just have this caramel center. That could be the value. But you never took the chance to actually put it into action and have a physical representation of it. That means you'll never get to present it. If you never get to present it, you can never be known for it. So it's like, you got to look at whatever it is that you do. Like, okay, well, you got to be putting in the work constantly so that you'll be ready for the opportunity to present whatever it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like opportunity is always around, because like, it's like there's always going to be people around paying attention to different things going on. It's like you won't receive if you aren't in the right space to receive it. So it's like it's like the first person to do that, they might have just they had to have created that on their own and give it to somebody to taste, and then gave it to the right person who takes this shit and said, hey nigga, like, nah bro, you can make a lot of money with this shit. This is unique. I ain't never tasted nothing like this. Like, I see your vision. I want to buy into this. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like you can receive the benefits of being able to present that thing. And so like, it's like it works the same way with whatever content you creating. You got value. You know, there's something that you think about every day that you know could probably help somebody, even if you don't feel like it's that profound. It's just the way you talk about it might be like, damn, I know that's important, but you never take the time to figure out the details of how to put it together. And that's what Virgo is all about. That's what the 6th house is all about, how to put it together. And then once you put it together, this is where you can go into the next stage of the 6th house, which is creating a system that incorporates the action needed to get it done. So once you figure out how you want it to look, figure out how you can get it to all work together. That's literally Virgo, mutable earth. The many different pieces and functions and details that go together to create a functional system, aka like even your nervous system. That's the 6th house, the nervous system. The nervous system is a bunch of strands that link up every single organ and thing in your body to make it move and shit like that, to make everything move and work. And it's the functionality, it's the systems that travel, that send sparks of information across your fucking body, something you feel in the head to your toes. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on, you know what I'm saying? That is what's going on. So as that goes, that's the next step, creating a system that incorporates the action needed to get it done. Action. And this goes into another point, right, that I was going to say about being ready. See, like I said again, I'm going to say this again straight from my book, Ready. There is no perfect time. Opportunity is always around. You won't receive if you're not in the right space to receive that. So if you're not in this, and like being in the right spaces, because it's like, man, like I said, bro, the person with the nougat, the person with the caramel center, right, and made the chocolate bar, right? Like I said, he been making this for a while now. He do this every day. So he's ready, aka he's always in a situation where he can have somebody try some of his chocolate. He can have somebody, he always got it on him because he's constantly making them every day. But say he's not the type of person who be in his sixth house. Say he don't do this every day. Say he just got a dream and idea. Guess what? When time comes to, hey, I wish I had some chocolate. That nigga like, damn, oh man, if only I, you know what I'm saying? It could have been an investor with all the money in the world, and all that dude needed, like, he's asking somebody, please, with a chocolate bar. I just need some chocolate right. Oh, I'm hungry right now. I need something to hold me over. And like y'all in the elevator, and you like, damn, right then and there, you could have changed your whole life just because you was ready. You get what I'm saying? I know that analogy is wacky, but I'm just saying, like, this is like, it'd be that simple. Because it's like, even with content on YouTube, it could be that one video that gets seen by that one person who be like, man, what is your Cash App? I want to donate $5 million to whatever it is the fuck that you talking about. I just like how you talk about it. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. And that's where you start. And that's on the other side of things, beyond Saturn, where you gotta allow imagination and all possibilities to participate. This is more the 12th house and Neptune shit. But I'm just saying, like, that's how you gotta play with these energies. Because, you know, even though we talking about Saturn right now, and that goes into my next point, actually. That's a perfect segue, because it's all about holding yourself accountable, right, to get the work done, but at the same time giving yourself space to rest, space to dream, space to be in your imagination, and to allow new things to come in. Because being too bent in the sixth house, in these earth houses, being too bent on trying to get content done, that can also stagnate you by basically the content that you might start producing might lose quality because it starts to become stale. It starts to not have enough fluidity in it, not enough water in it, not enough imagination in it, and stuff like that. And that's important to know. So know when to rest, but hold yourself accountable to get it done. And one little hack that you can do is work ahead. When you get bursts of energies, being in certain energies and spaces and shit like that, always know, okay, this is a day, this might be a day I can put a little extra work in order to get something back. You feel me? So always keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind and keep that in play. You feel me? So at the same time, so those are the main those are the main points, right? Now, next up, right, you want to make sure that you also so throughout this process, right, one thing to keep in mind. So of course, the end goal is to earn a profit, right? At the end of the day, we want to earn, we're trying to earn money. We're trying to get paid for what we do. And fuck trying. We are getting paid for what we do. We are providing value in the world. Therefore, we shall receive value back, and it'll look like what we deserve. And hopefully that deserving looks like what we want and need, right? So in that sense, what we want to keep in mind, right? We have to remember the goal. If the goal is to attract money, right? And again, shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. If you don't know about him, go ahead, check out his channel and shit like that, because he gonna get you right as far as the spirituality and understanding the spiritual sense of things and where things come from, and reminding you a lot about more your power. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things, you know what I'm saying, he does frequent live streams, and one of the topics was talking about, you know, attracting, being the thing that you're being the thing that you want to attract. So if the goal into your business is to attract money, you have to remember these principles, the principles of how money moves and the virtues of how money moves, in order to make sure you keep those virtues and principles at play when you're participating with your business. So what I mean by that is, you want to know, okay, money is like, you know what I'm saying, money is like trees and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Money comes from trees type shit, where the paper, you know what I'm saying, like money, green, all that shit, growth, stability. These different things resemble things in our everyday life. So it's like basically how I'm looking at money and shit like that is how you can do this with anything. So with anything in your life, finding correlations and allowing your mind and imagination to go deeper, to where it's like these different things that, because like a lot of the things that we be wanting, a lot of the physical shit that we see in the world that we be wanting and shit like that. Now, it's not about trying to tie everything back to nature, but a lot of things look like other things, and like hence metaphors, for instance, you know, things that look like other things, and creating bridges between you, because like metaphors are like bridges within your mind where you can create. It's like metaphors is a sign of creativity, like, because it's like how you can bending your mind to make certain things look like other things, right? Not getting lost in shit, and not getting you know what I'm saying, getting lost in illusions and shit like that, but having the creativity to look at money and understand its qualities and similarities to trees, right? And so within that connection, within those metaphors and shit like that, you can create certain passageways where you can create certain mindsets for yourself in order to attract different kind of things. And this is just like some extra shit, but getting back to the point, right? Remember that money, stability, growth are patient. These things are patient. Just like trees don't move a lot. The qualities of trees and the properties and virtues and principles of when I'm looking, because I'm looking at a tree right now. You see trees behind me, but I'm like, look at that tree. It's like trees, they may sway, they may rock a little bit, but they are patient. They are still. And this goes to what I was saying about being ready. See, working in that 6th house, right? Even if you're not publishing content every single day, it's not about that. Not about rushing to put something online or rushing to do something, but it's about building, staying down, and then building to the point where you're always ready. Because that's the thing about it. Like I said, opportunity is always around. It's just about being in the right space at the right time. And being at the right space at the right time, you want to make sure that you have the right amount of energy in order to fulfill that space on some. And that's how you use the masculine and feminine energy, because the feminine energy is going to be the space and the right time, the right space. The masculine energy is the action and work that you got to do and put into play. And now if you're not putting in that masculine energy and working on the thing, you're not even going to know when the right opportunity presents itself. Because like, think about it. If you haven't even made your chocolate bar, you might be in that elevator when a nigga say, man, I wish I had something to eat right now. And you might not even register that, oh, that could have been an opportunity. I could have gave bro my chocolate idea. You let that idea come and go and shit like that. But that could, like, you won't even be in the right space to even receive the information. Be, oh shit, hold on. And then you fulfill that space with the masculine energy. And now that creates an instance where you're co-creating with the universe. And this is my last point, right? Because I was going to say when I was saying just now, remember that money, stability, growth is patient, but patience isn't procrastination. Procrastinate is procreating with the imagination. Procreating is good, but needs physical action in order to become co-creation with the universe. So when you're procreating with the imagination, that's great for getting an image. That's great for creating the space to be inspired to do something, or to getting the full spectrum of the possibilities of different, visions that you might have. Procreation is cool, but you need physical action to make it co-creation with the actual universe in the physical reality. Because it's like that procreation, that shit can come and go. That shit is great. But if you don't do nothing to ground it or utilize your natural gifts to bring that shit down into reality, it'll forever just be an imagination. You feel me? And see, that at that point, that's where you kind of get lost in the mix. And that's where you have these brilliant ideas that never actually see the light of day. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something to keep in mind. So that's the whole video. You know what I'm saying? So that's how to stay consistent with content. It's working with that 2nd, 6th, and 10th house and reminding yourself of a lot of these concepts. And one of the things you got to remind yourself too, and this is kind of just something that's just going to happen as you're doing it. You got to make sure that you staying spiritually strong while enduring the process. You're going to get hit with all lights, all kinds of things in the world to keep you away from doing what it is that you had as a first thought to do, aka whatever idea you had, dream, goal, value that you decided to put out into the world, and what you decide to create as far as a system to keep up with that shit. Everything in the world is going to try to distract you from that. And what you want to do is you want to pay attention to those feelings, thoughts, and physical representations that take you away from that work, because those are the things that are going to show you things within you that you need to be making sure that you're keeping tabs on. Because the second you let one of these things take you off course, it's no one to blame but you, and it fucks up your ritual, because the 6th house, this is routines and schedules. This is another word for ritual, and that's how you, and like, we're gonna talk more about rituals specifically, but this becomes your ritual, the system you create to work on whatever it is that you putting out to present, to be known for. That shit is a ritual. So the energy that goes into while you're at work doing what you do, that's important too. But I'm gonna save that for the next video, you know what I'm saying? But that's just something to keep in mind. You're gonna get hit with all types of shit in the world to be like, nah, you shouldn't do that. Do that shit. Keep in mind your first thought, and don't lose sight of that shit. Keep going for that shit. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it sounds easier said than done, you know what I'm saying? But that's the way most things are. But just keep in mind, these are the things that you got to do, because that spiritual strength, you will always get rewarded at the end of the day when you show that strength. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Much love and more power to you as you continue to manifest what it is you deserve. You know what I'm saying? We all deserve wealth. We all deserve this shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Much love. And if you have any questions, you want a personal reading, you need a creative consultation, go ahead and hit me up at davebeyond95@gmail.com, or just hit me up at esoterichustle108@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put both in the description so you know where I'm at. And other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.